You've probably seen this clip. Congresswoman Jay Powell had a viral moment at a hearing. The internet is calling her cruel, heartless, a monster. They're missing the story, but they may not be wrong. Because what actually happened in that room and what it says about the entire system right now is bigger than the moment caught on camera. And if you only watched the clip, you're being played. The mother is Jessica Gorman. Her daughter, Sheridan, was murdered by an illegal immigrant. It has nothing to do with ICE or anything like that for me. But here's what the viral clip doesn't show. Jessica Gorman didn't just show up to this hearing. She sat through 4 of them, watching politicians give speeches about compassion and immigration reform, while at the same time downplaying it if it didn't fit the narrative of their party. When she finally got her turn to speak, Jay Powell told her it to her face after giving her this nice little opening of sympathy that there are many other things we could be doing. This is the 4th hearing. Why would you say that in front of a grieving mother of 3 feet away? And she checked her watch. Why does my child matter less than an illegal immigrant? That's not a talking point. That's not a prepared question. That's a mother who buried her daughter asking the most basic question a human being can ask and getting nothing back but political speak.
To share their stories and their lives with us. Unfortunately, this hearing is, it's the 4th time in this committee that we've had a hearing on sanctuary cities. The 4th time.
And that's where everyone seems to be getting this wrong. The take you've seen everywhere is Parmelia J. Powell is a bad person. Look at this clip, share it, rage about it, move on, next outrage, next viral movement. And I'm going to tell you something that's harder to hear. This take is uncomfortable for some people. It lets you point at one person and say, she's the problem, fire her, vote her out, problem solved. But it's not that simple, people. I don't know Parmelia J. Powell. Maybe she's fine at dinners, but that's not the point to me.
I deeply value that. But basically what you just did, what you said was, I'm so sorry for your loss. I have a daughter too. I have a son. I feel your pain. You don't. You don't feel my pain. Because the next words out of your mouth were, but. There's no but. When your child is in a coffin, there's no but. And I need you to understand that. And if you ever want to talk about it, I'm here. I'm going to buy you a bench. I'm going to buy. You can put that on.
The point is, this is what the system does to people. It's not what one bad actor did. What the machinery produces every day in both parties while you're busy arguing about which side's worse. You spend enough years in Congress running on a platform, taking cues from your caucus, managing your media, fundraising, re-election, repeat. And eventually you stop seeing a grieving mother. You see a political inconvenience. You see the other side's prop. You see an agenda item that's keeping you from the real work. This is the 4th hearing. That's what she said to this grieving mother. Whether you agree with it or not, you don't say that. You can say that afterwards in a press release if you want, or to the other members of Congress after the meeting. You don't say something like that in the meeting, period. We have to have standards. The point is, this is what the system does to people. It's not what one bad actor did. What the machinery produces every day in both parties while you're busy arguing about which side's worse. You spend enough years in Congress running on a platform, taking cues from your caucus, managing your media, fundraising, re-election, repeat. And eventually you stop seeing a grieving mother. You see a political inconvenience. You see the other side's prop. You see an agenda item that's keeping you from the real work. This is the 4th hearing. That's what she said to this grieving mother. Whether you agree with it or not, you don't say that. You can say that afterwards in a press release if you want, or to the other members of Congress after the meeting. You don't say something like that in the meeting, period. We have to have standards. Translation. We've already been through 3 rounds of this. How many more do we have to endure before we can get back to business? That's what it needs to be about. That's not malice. That's not cruelty. That's institutional indifference is what she did. And it's worse. Indifference requires you to just stop noticing. And the system is designed to make you just stop noticing. Jay Powell didn't wake up this morning planning to dismiss a grieving mother. At least I wouldn't think she did that morning. She just did, because the machinery has trained her to be cruel. It trains you to be efficient. And a crying mother doesn't fit the week's narrative, right? It's inefficiency. Don't look at her. Look past her. Look at the chair she's sitting in, the committee room, the staffers behind her taking notes, the cameras, the whole apparatus. That's not a person having a bad moment. That's an output of the machine. A politician who's been hiding what's inside so long that genuine human pain doesn't even register as a scheduling conflict. A system that processed Jessica Gorman's dead daughter into a fourth hearing and moved on. That's what they do, people. And so here's what I want you to take from this. Not a reason to hate Jay Powell, not a reason to share the clip and feel righteous. I want you to notice how they treat people they're supposed to serve, not in the personal elements, not in the press releases, but in the moment they forget the cameras are on. When a mother 3 feet away, she's checking her watch. You know, you don't need a political science degree to see it. You just need to stop letting them tell you what you see. Because the next question Jessica Dorman asked wasn't about policy. It wasn't about actual immigration reform or border security or any of the words they used to keep you distracted. Why does my child matter less? That's the question that she asked. That's a question about humanity. And the machinery has no answer. It's not designed to. Angel families deserve to be heard no matter what their political allegiance or the Congress's political allegiance. Not when it's convenient, not when it scores political points, not when it fits the narrative. Let me know what you think.